With Hell of a Boss not returning until July 30th, I thought now would be a good time to focus on a character I believe to be coming to the show soon, and one who will be focused on heavily in Season 2, the Prince of Greed, Mammon, and how we may be able to tell a lot from his character thanks to some McDonald's-themed tweets from Vivziepop. My name is Deepcut, welcome back to Cartoon Universe, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my theory videos just like this one. There are, of course, 7 rings of hell in Hazbin Hotel and Hell of a Boss, and each one is ruled by one of the 7 princes, with both the princes and the rings being themed after one of the 7 deadly sins. At the top of this pyramid is, of course, Lucifer as the king of all of hell, as well as the prince of the Pride Ring. And we have also met Asmodeus, who's not just the prince of the Lust Ring, but also a king in the Ars Goetia, outranking Stolas in this separate form of nobility. After those two, Mammon is the one we have seen the most references to within Hell of a Boss, with him first being referenced in episode 2 when the gang goes to the Greed Ring to visit Lululand. Lululand, as Octavia explains, is Mammon's knockoff of Lulu World, which seems to be a passion project of Lucifer's that tries to actually give people a good experience. Mammon's Lululand, on the other hand, tries to milk the natives of Hell for all the money that they can get. Sinners are restricted to the Pride Ring and thus cannot go to Lululand in the Greed Ring, but we don't know if imps and other natives are welcome at Lulu World or if Lucifer restricts it just to sinners he rules over, though the natives are of course welcome to live in the Pride Ring as the imps at IMP all do. All over the theme park are signs and flyers explaining that Lululand is legally distinct from Lulu World, and that anyone who says otherwise is a liar. In a contract held by RoboFizz himself, Mammon claims that he and Lucifer are good friends, though this all seems to be a facade put up by Mammon that Lucifer has to respect, as the courts have sided with Mammon on the issue for whatever reason. At the bottom of this contract, Mammon leaves his signature as well as a little doodle of himself, giving rise to the idea that he was a jester-themed demon. This seemed to be confirmed by this image of Mammon on Hell's currency, though I don't imagine that Mammon will necessarily look just like he is depicted on the money when we finally see him in the show. Certain species of demons seem to be native to certain rings of hell, such as imps being mostly from the Wrath Ring, succubi from the Lust Ring, and these fish demons theorized to be from the Envy Ring. Likewise, the Greed Ring is believed to be the home of the skeleton demons with clown and jester costumes on, though we did not see them in the Greed Ring itself. While all the princes seem to have some level of fame, we can see in the 2022 trailer that Mammon is treated like something of a rock star, and imps in particular seem to be really into him. It is hard to say how he might perform on stage to have a cheering crowd like this, as he's not some sort of demonic sexy entertainer the way that Asmodeus appears to be when he wants to. In another shot, we can also see his name is spelled out on some sort of gambling machine, which makes a lot of sense that he would own some sort of casino monopoly, as well as be ripping off the ventures of fellow princes like Lucifer to milk their passions for his own profit. Recently, Vivziepop tweeted out a captioned McDonald's image featuring Ronald and the gang watching Grimace as he hoards over some McDonald's food. I've got some theories on why she did this and what it says for Mammon and perhaps even Beelzebub, but before we jump into it, I want to talk about the sponsor of today's video, NordVPN. NordVPN has become a daily digital tool for me, and anyone who is not using it is not just missing out on a lot of great content, but are also leaving themselves open to all sorts of security threats and issues. I love cartoons if you haven't noticed, but in the age of streaming, it can actually be kind of difficult to find some of your favorites that used to just be floating around for free on YouTube. With NordVPN, you can change your region for any of your streaming services and get access to content not available in your area. I don't even like Cow and Chicken, but HBO Max America doesn't want you to have it. So obviously I'm using NordVPN to hop on over to Mexico and see it there. And actually, I changed my mind. I love this show now. Thanks, NordVPN. On top of that, they have lightning-fast servers that have never failed to get me quick downloads. I often forget that I even have a VPN on because of it. They've got massive threat protection, including blocking others who are trying to track your data, and even showing you who is actively being blocked by you at that time, as well as giving you the option to scan files as you download them to make sure they are free of anything malicious. You can get the exclusive NordVPN deal here at nordvpn.com/cartoonuv. It comes with with a risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee with prices so low there's no reason not to try it out and see just how important this service can be to your daily internet use. And now, back to the video. Now, in this recent tweet, Vivziepop simply says, "Mammon energy," and the caption of the McDonald's image reads, "The evil grimace Ronald knows is round and purple and has big toes. He carries shakes in every hand as he scurries through McDonald land." This was a bit puzzling to me, though when I first heard about the episode 8 having copyright issues problem, I had a weird instinct that Mammon, as a jester demon, might look a bit like Ronald McDonald for some fun capitalism commentary depicting Ronald as the Prince of Greed. While that may not be the reason they are facing copyright issues, this tweet definitely had me thinking that he still may look like some sort of green, evil Ronald McDonald with a jester hat. The tweet seems to say that Grimace, the way he carries food, is what Mammon energy is, however, and it gives the idea that he is a bit of a two-faced character. On stage, in his clown suit, he's this role model that all the greedy demons of hell aspire to be like, but behind closed doors, he could be like Grimace, a blobby mess barely fitting into his clown suit as he scoops up all of his ill-gotten earnings. Grimace is a well-known character from McDonald's history, and started as an evil villain that would hoard the McDonald's food before eventually becoming Ronald's best friend. After a failed redesign of Ronald, he's been mostly shifted out of advertising for the company, as the harsh red and yellow colors and vibrant clown aesthetic just aren't as appealing to kids these days. But it would be fun to see these two characters played out as Mammon in front of audiences and behind closed doors. I also considered the idea that Mammon is meant to be Ronald in the background, watching as Grimace, perhaps representing the Prince of Gluttony, waddles off with cheap, greasy food, while Mammon just smiles and gets to collect his profits. Vivziepop seemed to want to be as vague as possible with it, and follow-up tweets seem to say that this McDonald's theme will be relevant to Mammon's character in the future, though. It seemed odd that he was first referenced in episode 2, and that the first ring we explored outside of the Pride Ring was Greed. The Wrath Ring seems to make more sense because Moxie and Millie are from there, but the Greed Ring seemed largely unrelated to the characters. That being said, Blitz is not from the Wrath Ring like Moxie and Millie, and we don't really know where he is from, but as a kid, he and Vivziepop seem to really worship Mammon, as they can be seen wearing his merch in old photos, and of course both fell into the clown and jester routine. I believe, based off of the 2022 trailers, that Vivziepop and Blitz had something of an audition for some princes, perhaps Mammon and Asmodeus, and that when a trick involving fire went wrong, Blitz was left with his scars that we can see he didn't have back when he was in an act with his sister. Asmodeus would take a liking to and roboticized Vivziepop and created knockoff love bots to sell as well, with Mammon purchasing one to perform at his park since Asmodeus took Vivziepop under his wings, so to speak. Season 2 of the series seems to be focusing on a lot of flashbacks if the trailer and previews are any indication, so I'm excited to see Blitz's story get expanded upon, while likely introducing more and more about Mammon and how he will be important to characters going forward, perhaps even becoming the series villain. Why Asmodeus and Vivziepop are getting wrapped up in that, or why Mammon would want to come after Blitz is a bit too early to tell, but whatever they have planned for Mammon, I think it's going to be epic. But what about you guys? Leave a comment down below letting me know your thoughts, and while you're down there, don't forget to check out the link to NordVPN.com/cartoonuv to try out NordVPN. See you guys next time.